Hey. I am Amber Bell, Program Director at the Southwest Georgia Project, and the newest person to sit in on this panel, but I want to recognize this panel, a group of strong, influential mentors who have labored their lives to make the world a better place for my generation and generations behind me. So thank you for your work. I just want to talk about the work that I do in Southwest Georgia Project. We are dealing with a cruel and vicious cycle of poverty. And that cycle of poverty continues and is getting deeper and deeper as industries are leaving the area, looking for cheaper labor, so leaving and going across the border to Mexico. So in these communities, there's substandard education. So if you can't get an adequate education, what do you do once you graduate from high school, if you're able to graduate from high school? Inadequate jobs. So even if you graduate from high school with your substandard education, you can't move to a larger city or into the city because you don't have the educational background to qualify for highly competitive positions. And then we suffer from higher rates of chronic diseases and food insecurities because you're in these rural areas where there is no Publix, there is no Walmart even, so there is limited to little access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So what our work is educating, engaging, and empowering women, because like you said in the beginning, if this world is going to change, women are going to have to be at the table. So what we do is educate, engage, and empower women to address communities in the rural communities. So we want these communities to be able to say, we want these types of curriculums in our school system. What the state is providing, I want to give you an example. The farm gate in Georgia is $34 billion. And there is not a school in the 14 counties that I work in that teaches or educates youth on farm or farm labor or farm work or any type of ag-related positions. You think that the state would choose to educate and train their students on where the money is. We see lots of pushing into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, but there's also a large field of agriculture that goes left untouched. So we provide that type of education, training women who tend to own land. These are black women who are owning land. Black land is under attack, but it does still exist, and that land is in the communities where these rural people are without access to fresh and healthy food. So we're training these women and their counterparts to grow fresh, healthy foods that can be disseminated into the communities and even the school system. In 2015, we accepted a nearly 47,000 square foot old grocery store building that we plan to retrofit into a regional food hub that will allow the produce that is grown on the land by minority communities to go into the food hub at a fair price so these farmers can maintain their land and then go into the school systems and communities that currently don't have access to food. So that's one of the initiatives that we're working on. The other one is young women leadership. So this table is full of wisdom, but we got to do a better job of building the bridge so that when you do get ready to retire and sit down, there's somebody behind you to continue this fight. So we've brought some young ladies from Albany to New York to be on this stage, to be in this room, to hear these stories. And that's something that we're going to continue to do to make sure that what you started doesn't end with you. And we see all of these as not an end-all be-all to poverty, but it can put a big dent in poverty in Southwest Georgia, and poverty affects everybody. So I mentioned healthcare costs. Medicaid is one of the most expensive programs we have. I mentioned SNAP. That's one of the biggest budgeted items in the U.S. government. So if we're able to move people out of poverty, then we can start to reduce the overall budget of programs like SNAP and Medicaid.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you.